If she had only been ugly, we would still be.
I was thinking about things I hate in stand-up is the moment where the MC goes, "Are you ready for your headliner?"
Yeah.
And they go, "Yeah," and they go, "He's not coming up for that." I'm thinking, first of all, I'm coming up if you boo me.
Right. Right. I'm kind of contracted to come up. So
That's
regardless of their response to your question, I'm going to be there anyway. Yeah.
He's not. I can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear them. They're a nice crowd. Leave them alone.
They're good enough. Let's go.
Stop bothering them.
I know. They're always trying to whoop them into some sort of frenzy,
And you know what else I hate is when you get it.
Which only increases their expectations.
Right.
Maybe we'd all be better off if somebody goes, your headliner. A lot of people love them. Some people don't. Everybody lower your expectations, you know, and then you have a wonderful show.
The worst intro I ever got was in Miami at the Improv. This guy would go, "Folks, fasten your seatbelts." I'm thinking, fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I, a roller coaster ride?
No, you really gotta strap in for this ride. And then everybody's expecting a joke that does things that a joke can't do, which is blow their hair back.
Yeah, right.
Like, what the fuck are you gonna do with material now? It's like, I got my only weapon here is material. Clearly, there's no seatbelt fastening necessary, but yeah.
Who do you find are the toughest acts to follow? Nothing seems to faze you.
I don't care. Yeah, I think if you can find a way to just change the music,
Yeah,
as long as you're not trying to match them or go up and do what they're doing, try and just say this is a different experience. If you want to have it, come along for the ride.
Yeah.
If you don't, go follow fucking Whack Boy out of the house. Do whatever you want to do.
Well, yeah. What kind of acts do you like and dislike the most?
I just like somebody who's got their own thing going on. Like just like anybody in comedy. I mean, there's what I find funny, but that's sometimes different from, like, there's a level of respect that's associated with somebody that there's some thought behind what they're doing. It's got to be more than one premise. It's got to be thoughtful. Not thoughtful, but it's got to be their own voice, their own thing. Somebody's up doing Viagra jokes, or if it's just about sex, like some of the, it's like. It better be interesting sex material, because sex material is great if it's good material. It's got to be good material. I don't care what it's about.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that somebody, and it's got to be from the person. You get the guys that are doing jokes that just because they sound like jokes that already got laughs somewhere else, and it's just like an awful feeling around that stuff.
It's weird because people don't realize that part of comedy is your essence and your personality, your soul. And some people try and lift that.
No, that's how you become. To me, if you're not doing that, you're not a comedian. You're somebody that tells jokes once in a while. I always thought there needs to be some kind of, even if I don't like your material, or whatever, it's got to come from there. It's got to come from you.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I found most difficult was getting back to myself.
Yeah.
When I started being a comedian, I would be fast. I would be slow.
Sure,
I would be proppy. I would be like. The only prop I had was a big cigar, and I used to do this lounge comedian. I'd love to do it again, but it was like
a great character.
Did you ever see it?
I saw a piece of it.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, it's a great character. I love it.
Come on, folks, give a little.
I love that.
Get off your high
yeah.
horses.
Yeah, I love that character.
Yeah, it was actually Bruce Willis wanted to do a series with that character.
It's a great character.
But I just thought it was like, I don't know if that character could carry a series.
It's a little thin for a series. Yeah. It could be a component of a series.
Yeah, he'd be a great, hey, how's everybody doing today?
Yeah, a segment, like a component, but it'd be hard. It'd need to be more three-dimensional, I would imagine, if it's going to carry a series for 5 years.
Remember that Albert Brooks movie about heaven?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember seeing it because it's been a long time, but I remember the movie.
Well, there was this guy named Roger Bear who stole that character from me and did it in the movie.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I thought it was stock. Dov, it was so stupid. It couldn't be stock. Because the character was like this. He would do, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
Right, yeah.
And what do you call a Mexican hitchhiking? Stranded. Is this on? Is this thing on? Hello? I can't. It's funny. I can't hear you.
Right.
And I would do things like.
What do you mean stock? That it wasn't the character you
like
came
as
up
if
with?
everybody stock in the sense that
No.
like one of those jokes like
no.
I suppose you're wondering who ordered the tax. You know those kind of jokes.
Right? Yeah. Or or the line, we try the halibut, it's fresh or something. Here all week.
Yeah. The worst line is
nobody owns that line. We're here all week. Try the halibut, it's fresh. Something like that. That being said, a character that's doing a bunch of things is not stock. You can't copy that character.
No, it was I mean, the line that I hate is. Dom will be doing children's parties later.
Oh, God.
Like that fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like, who hasn't heard that line?
Yeah, and
now?
if you want to see him again, check out the local children. Yeah, it's like, shut up. Anytime somebody, whenever somebody says, I just shut down. I shut down. It's almost a bad, hacky line. Because it's not just about the line. It's representative of the kind of person that says the line.
Yeah.
And then immediately I know I can't talk to them after that. What am I going to do? It's too much.
Well, you're coming up with a good group, though. I mean, with your group of comedians.
Some of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of them, of course, some of them, because there's not that many really great comedians. But thank God we're two of them. Am I right? Is this thing on? Hello. How do you do, Ski? I used to do this character called Razor.
Yeah.
Before anybody recognized me. And he would be the guy who auditioned at the club since the club opened. Right. He's a good friend of the club owners.
Right.
Please be kind to him, Razor.
I've seen you.
You see
a
me
little bit, yeah.
And he would
just Razor.
Premises,
Yeah, just premises, yeah.
Like, you ever get on a bus and, you want to pull the stop and you forget. And then you go like 2 blocks out of your way. Don't you hate that?
I know, just and everybody's waiting, and each time they're waiting, and then it just becomes funny.
What's up with turtles? They're so slow.
That's funny.
But I would do that.
What's up with turtles?
Then go into the lounge comedian, and they would fucking hate me because I fooled them. Is this thing on? What do you call a dog with no legs? Nothing, no matter what you call him. He ain't coming. The pooch is not arriving. Hello.
I like, but
then these ridiculous
they're funny together, though, both of them.
Yeah.
When you go from one to the other, it's funny.
It's such an extreme, because he's so fucking
you go from
fast.
there to there, yeah.
I love you, you're beautiful. You're lower than whale shit, you're pond scum. You're lower than worm sperm, you're paramecium. None of that meant anything.
Right. It's funny.
There was that comedian, Nathan Lane, that actor.
Sure,
He used to sit in the back of the improv, and he has a great memory, and he would always remember some of the stupid things that I would improvise. Like, get off your high horses. Come down off your exalted mountains. Retreat from your petite plateaus.
They're interesting, like esoteric kind of lines.
Retreat from your petite plateaus.
Yeah, but that's...
As if a plateau could be petite.
Right, but it's alliteration. Petite plateau. But that's what makes it good, because it's not those stock goofy lines. You can do that stock rhythm, the Catskill rhythm, but then those lines are what becomes interesting and funny about it.
I feel really lucky to be here with this group of guys, because you guys are a lot younger than me, but the energy that is around is so much competitive fun. Like, I never feel like competitive, negative.
Right.
I feel competitive,
mean,
like, man, this is such a good show. I ain't going to fucking ruin it.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going out there thinking, I'm going to be better than Chris D'Elia. I'm going to be better. I don't give a fuck. I just want to be me, but I don't want to be like the guy who brought the show down.
Yeah, right, sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's the healthy form of competition that's good and that drives people, as opposed to the negative part, which is about hurting somebody, which is ultimately self-destructive. It's that awful Hollywood, if he does well, then that means it's taking something from me, and that shit'll kill you.
But you do an interesting thing, because I see you go on after somebody fucking really wrecks the room.
Yeah.
And then you appear, but because your stage presence is so strong, you appear to almost be bombing, and you suck them in.
Yeah.
And then you start building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? You're just like, oh, you're blind. I don't know. And you're like, and then it's
at first I don't even want to be there.
Yeah. What can you? He's almost disgusted that you're up.
For me, it just helps change the music.
No, you're right. It's smart. It's good. It's a good acting exercise. But it shows you how you can get them when you know you really got one gun that's
you
loaded.
Gotta have it. You gotta have a gun after if you're gonna do that. If you're gonna take everybody down and go, the music's changing, and you got no fucking where to fire.
Oh,
yeah, good luck. After 30 seconds, you can't keep going. You know what? I'm not sure I even want to be. And then 20 minutes of that goes by. I don't want to hang you.
We had like a couple celebrities here a couple weeks ago, and you were involved in it. I love your honesty about dealing with people and taking care of people. And you were kind of like frustrated about like having to spoon feed them a couple things. And
and we're putting together a project, so there's the sort of business, like the networking component of it. But yeah, there's only so much I can deal with. And also for me, the idea of celebrity for me, it doesn't mean much. An individual that I happen to be a fan of that is really good at something is meaningful, but that could be a professor or a guy I knew that built a really interesting car and has some sort of mechanical kind of mind. It's like whether or not somebody was on a magazine, it really... I also didn't grow up with television. It doesn't occupy it's never been a thing to me, you know.
Yeah, I'm addicted to television.
Yeah, a lot of people love TV, and they've internalized it, and they've grown up with it. But you know the difference too. I mean, you know, it's the celebrity stuff for the sake of is just very wacky and usually representative of somebody that is a fan of television without understanding what it actually is. You've been on television. You understand that there are mooks on there and that reality show. And some people don't differentiate. For them, Larry David and Kim Kardashian occupy the same. They're both on TV.
Yeah, right.
You know, big difference.
Very big difference. Who would want to fuck Larry David?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. David's meaningless. This Kardashian.
She's something else.
Now you got to stop. No. I mean, you know, it's about being able to understand where there's value and where there isn't. And if you don't understand that, you're a fucking mook and you're lost, I think.
You hear that? You're a mook and you're lost.
Yeah.
You're a lost mook.
Yeah, I believe that.
In the muck.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy this club, and I'm not saying that because we're coming from the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. But first of all, if you can't make it with this fucking club, Sunset and Laurel, one of the hottest places in the world. But we do. I love, you know, like that Saturday night. I mean, I felt like I had a really tough spot. Because,
all right, yeah.
You know, it was like, it was late.
Yeah, and people went on and did well, right? And they did well.
And Chris, and so it was late. It was like fourth.
But it was late. That's the real main component too. It's like the show started late.
But how they laughed. They laughed so fucking hard at you and Chris.
Yeah, you feel
so it was
like
really a challenge, you know.
Sure.
And I don't think I had that good a set, but I think under the circumstances,
no, it's all relative. It's all relative. If somebody goes in and does reasonably well at midnight on a Tuesday at the store, you know, or kills on a Friday, that's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember being at the Improv in the late '80s in New York or whatever, and I remember the woman saying, you know, they were auditioning for something, and she said, "Well, I can't put you on in front of him because, you know, you'll bury him." I said, but why should I get punished for being strong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not worried about him. Let me get the job first, then I'll help him get a job.
Yeah, right.
I'll be gracious and generous.
There's a lot of that. Yeah. I can't let you go up yet.
But these shows here are so good that a lot of it's interchangeable. I mean, anybody can pretty much close. I know Chris creates a different energy because of his acting and, as you say, mincing around the stage. But he's so talented.
It depends, you know, on what you're doing up there.
I think it's interesting too. Like, you know, we both love Brian Callen, but I think it's interesting to see a guy who's really not a stand-up, but is so fucking charismatic and talented that he does stand up.
He's got his own operation that he runs. I mean, the one thing about the things that he does is it's him. There's nobody doing jokes where they save a whale and then push it back into the ocean and get laid as a result of that. And then immediately after the whale saving, they're jumping through a field of wheat and saving a woman from a pack of wolves. You know? I mean, it's his own brand, you know, which is what I care about.
Well, that's the thing. I think and I don't want to get it too heavy into what is a stand-up comedian, what differentiates the ones that make it and don't. But you have to have your own voice. Something has to be different.
Yeah, you gotta do your own thing. You know.
I remember it.
If you're not doing your own thing, then you're an actor and telling jokes.
Yeah.
And there may be value in that. It's just not what I like. I don't think there is much value in that, but yeah.
Does anybody make you laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get. I mean, I'm one of those guys.
I don't watch a lot of stand-up.
No,
but certainly, some people make me laugh.
Yeah, even
often for reasons that are different from why other people are laughing, but certainly they still make me laugh. Sometimes it's an awkward pause or a movement, and I understand what they're thinking about, and that's what makes me laugh, as opposed to the punchline. But certainly there are people I find funny.
Yeah, it's. Imagine how impossible it must be to actually make it as a stand-up comedian who's making like a good living. Think about the fucking odds in that. It's
the odds are ridiculous.
It's like making the pros in the sport.
Yeah,
the numbers.
I know, but it's actually not that interesting to me. Only because the success part of it is there's a lot of luck involved, and then what's interesting is you got to beat a lot of odds, but sperm beat a lot of odds. Everybody that's walking around is 1 out of a billion. It's like the idea of beating odds. Like some of it is, if somebody got a pilot and the pilot worked out, it's like, I don't know, like a Seinfeld's career. Like, it's not that interesting to me. I don't, it's like, I think he was really good at what he did. He identified his own voice, and he had a hand in writing a great show.
Well, all the stars had to be in line.
Had that show been yanked off the air?
It could have been. It would have been. It would have been today.
I know. The business model today. Oh yeah. You got to pick up an audience way faster than that.
Well, they wanted to get rid of Larry David.
Yeah, of course they did.
Because
he's too unique.
Yeah.
They don't want unique in television unless there's already been a precedent and it can be sold to a lot of people immediately.
Well, it's a business.
Right. But in network television, it's different. I mean, the reason why Louie's on FX is because it's cheaper and they can allow an audience build and a smaller amount of people that will watch it, And so it avails you the opportunity to do something more specific. And that isn't just general. And the average network sitcom is just a goofy joke box. It doesn't have much of a voice behind it. Seinfeld was unique.
Well, Seinfeld's the only sitcom since probably I was a kid, like the Andy Griffith Show and those things.
All in the Family was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
You actually laughed at. I mean, I can look at a sitcom and a lot of my friends have had them, and I can look at it and respect it and think, fuck, that's hard.
Yeah.
Good for them, but I'm not laughing.
Of course,
Seinfeld, I actually laughed.
Me too. Feel the same way.
There was an episode, the one episode that
it's because they tried to write stuff that was funny to a comic as well, and then America caught on, and it became funny to everybody.
And they wrote about the weaknesses in people, and the indifference. Remember the last episode?
Yeah.
Didn't they get arrested for indifference when they let
something
John Pinette
like that?
get beat up?
I forget. But they did a lot of things that I found. Really.
But I remember like in the episode that I was in, George was such a weak human being. He pussied out on everything.
Right.
And he smelled smoke and it was so funny because he was at a preschool and he smelled smoke and he goes, there's smoke, and he runs and he happens to run over an old lady with a walker who happens to be going by. Why she was at a preschool?
She's there.
She was there to get knocked down.
Yeah, she's there for
he
a
knocks
joke.
her down, and the fireman says to him, "How do you live with yourself?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "It ain't easy." You know what I mean? Like, and Melanie Tartikoff played the girl that he was, trying to date, but she kept pussying out.
Right.
She goes, "You ran away from all those people." He says, "It appears that way to the untrained eye. I was merely clearing a path."
That's right.
Remember that? Like, they're not really jokes. They're just funny human frailties.
It's great. Yeah. Listen, can't take anything away from that Larry David. That fucking guy, he's brilliant.
You know him?
No. But that's another thing, like the idea of brilliant or people that were sort of really good creatively. I don't know. I got a beef with our culture. Like the idea that somebody should be treated even, me. I mean, after a show and somebody treats you differently than, it's like I don't know. It's like Woody Allen was saying. Somebody was saying to Woody Allen, like, Woody Allen goes, if somebody's creative and then they get known for something, or there's a way that they're treated that's often, he goes, that should not be the case. He goes, I happen to be able to write. I've never been at a loss for an idea. I mean, Woody Allen's clearly the greatest genius that's been around for. I mean, he's peerless. He doesn't have any peers.
I agree.
Scorsese's got peers. These people have peers.
Yeah, you're right.
Woody Allen's got no peers. There's nobody that's done what he did. Not even close. And his point was, I can just do this. He goes, I've never been at a loss for an idea. One thing stops, I start on the next.
Isn't that incredible?
He goes, you want to say something to me about my work ethic? You want to do, we can talk about that. But he goes, to give somebody like to treat somebody special because it's like treating someone special because they were born at 6'10".
Yeah.
The ability to write 20 jokes a day, the ability to go from screenplay to screenplay to screenplay is no different than being a 7-foot tall guy. You're one in a 50 million people or however many people it does to produce that. And, it's like, I don't know. I like to take a lot of the gas out of a balloon so that I can understand what the value is and what's actually taking place, I think there's a lot of wackiness in this culture that doesn't, for me, work.
Well, and you predicate your act on a lot of that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like, I guess I'm always trying to figure out what's important to me, and it's important to me to understand actual value relative to perceived as it relates to human beings and personalities and friends. That's why I have few friends, and the ones I have will be decent people. I'm not, I remember being in those circles around people that in some Hollywood arrangement, there's angling and people, it's like, if that's what it takes, if I got to fucking go and, become somebody else in order to get that show or that thing, you can keep it.
But why do you have such anger towards women and children?
The point is that you see a family, it's the death of fun. Nothing ever good takes place around those little animals.
Taking them to Disneyland, fucking waiting in line.
Yeah, you're packing sandwich. Did I get this? Did we get that? We did get that. It's like a fucking camping trip every time they would go to leave the house.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, no, I can't blow you in the car. The kid's inside. Well, get rid of the kid.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, what you are. You're ruining my Tuesday.
I want you to come back again when Jamie's here.
Yeah. I always love when Jamie's here.
He's got something, a pinched nerve in his neck.
Yeah.
Because, I always think he slept wrong. And I always think of something sad about somebody who gets hurt in their sleep. It's not exactly like playing rugby.
I know.
I got a sleep injury.
Yeah, what happened? You fucked up my shoulder. REM. I actually sprained my neck one time drying my hair.
Did you really?
With a towel, yeah.
Oh, that thing kind of...
I was just going like this, and it was just something that was off.
Yeah, that nerve
probably
pop.
the way I had slept, and then you get up in the morning, you start moving around, It's
another sleeping injury. Thanks for being on, man.
Thank you, Dom.
And I will see you soon.
Yes,
in about
sir.
a minute. We'll go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.
If she had